Another ship is ready to set sail. One cruise line is warning of possible scams, and I have an announcement for any true crime fans out there. Ahoy travelers, it's Amy here with your weekly Cruise News Roundup and my thoughts on some of the biggest stories of the week. Now, I've heard a lot of reasons for an itinerary change: weather, propulsion, problems, crowding at ports, but guests sailing on board the Norwegian Getaway for the March 9th cruise have been given a reason I've never heard of before: elections. So in an email, guests were told due to a general election in Belize on March 12th, which is expected to limit the availability of essential port services and may result in a guest experience that falls short of the high standards we aim to deliver, our call to Harvest Key, Belize, has been rescheduled for March 13th, which was originally supposed to be the cruise's stop in Roatan. Now, this change is due to Belize declaring a public and bank holiday for the election, meaning that port officials, dock workers, pilots, and other staff members may not be working that day, or even if they are, their schedules may be very minimal. Unfortunately, this holiday was just declared on the 11th, so Norwegian has not had a lot of time to make adjustments. So after rescheduling the stop, the ship is now skipping Roatan altogether, and then Wednesday the 12th will be a sea day. Maybe that's the only thing they could do. It was last minute. Maybe they couldn't reschedule Roatan, but color me shocked that they chose to go to their own private destination first. Now, I was unable to find out if the line plans on doling out any type of compensation, but cruisers agree to unscheduled port changes when they book their cruise. So while many cruisers may receive some kind of compensation for itinerary changes, it's not something that cruisers should expect or demand. So when is the last time you've had a cruise with an itinerary change? Were you compensated for it? Let me know. Amateur sleuths and those who are fans of true crime are going to be excited to learn that the Wondery Exhibit C, a true crime cruise, is going to be setting sail on the Norwegian Joy in early of 26. So it's going on a 4-night cruise. It's going to set sail round trip from Port Miami on January 26th. It's just making one stop, and that's at Nassau, Bahamas. Guests will learn about crime-solving tactics, including forensic science, criminal profiling, and investigative techniques during panel discussions and presentations. The theme voyage will feature special guests John and Callahan Walsh, the co-hosts of the long-running hit TV show America's Most Wanted. And that'll be along with popular true crime podcast hosts, I'm guessing from Wondery. So cruise fares range anywhere from around $1,300 per person, and that's a double occupancy. All these are double occupancy for an interior cabin, to $1,800 for a balcony cabin per person, and then $3,500 per person for a large penthouse suite. For super fans, there is a Diamond Detectives plan that includes all of the Silver Sleuth amenities plus accommodations in the Haven. That will also include additional perks like exclusive experiences with podcasters, photo opportunities, and more. Now, I'm going to leave a link to the website in the description below in case you're interested in booking this theme cruise or just checking it out. The MSC World America, this is the line's 23rd ship, has completed its sea trials this last week. Its official delivery is scheduled for March 27th, and the naming ceremony is planned for April 9th. That's going to be at MSC's new cruise terminal at Miami. So sea trials are tests that evaluate a vessel's seaworthiness, including engine performance, propulsion, speed, maneuverability, safety systems, navigational equipment, things like that. World America is going to be sailing 7-night Eastern and Western Caribbean cruises. I think will be alternating back and forth, with the inaugural cruise leaving out on April 12th. The 22-deck vessel has a gross tonnage of 216,000 or a little over, and has a capacity for almost 7,000 passengers. It's 6,762. It has 18 bars and lounges, 19 dining venues, including 4 main restaurants and 2 buffets, 2 venues in the MSC Yacht Club. Now that's exclusive for Yacht Club guests. Plus, there'll be 6 separate specialty restaurants. The new flagship will also debut 2 brand new lounge concepts: the All-Stars Sports Bar, which offers an authentic game day atmosphere with all-American fare and bar games. Then there's the Loft, which is going to be a multi-purpose venue for comedy, karaoke, and more. We enjoyed our MSC cruise. We were on the MSC Euribia, and that was our recent cruise that we did around Norway. I'd be willing to try out the World America. How about you? Have you ever sailed on MSC? Let me know your thoughts. Well, Virgin Voyages is reaching out to guests to warn them of a new fraud and scam targeting the cruise line's guests, or as they call them, sailors. So the line sent out an email stating, "We've become aware that some sailors are being targeted by scammers and fraudsters. As part of our commitment to keeping you safe and secure when you sail with us, we ask that you read the below tips to help avoid these schemes and protect your personal information." Now, some of the tips include not buying from anyone, trying to resell a reservation. You know, if someone's trying to resell something at a very deep discount, you should probably question that. Also, they want you to make sure that anyone selling a Virgin Voyages cruise is an authorized cruise line partner, and to be wary of special offers promoted on social media sites. Finally, guests are advised to be ultra cautious about their booking information. Treat your reservation ID as confidential. Do not share it with another person or post it on social media. Now, some of you may remember that there was something that happened not that long ago, maybe in the last year, where a lady was really excited, posted her booking information on a social media site, and somebody was able to take that and then go in and change the booking into their name, thus taking and stealing her booking. So be careful with that. Social media scams are definitely not new to the cruise industry, and there have been multiple stories of people being scammed by individuals, especially those claiming to be travel agents with certain deals. Like, they just cannot be believed. Don't forget, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Anyway, do your due diligence and check out any travel agent you're planning to work with to make sure they are both legitimate and familiar with cruising. So this video, assuming it comes out, please, please, please let this work. I spent a lot of time yesterday trying to work. I had problems with my video at first, and then I finally got that working. I don't know why. I've never had problems with that before. And then the audio wasn't working, and I've been using this new mic, and I'm still using it. I just don't have it up as high as I did. I tried to buy it was just a whole thing. I ordered a stand for the mic, and it ended up, the mic didn't fit it, and I don't like it anyway. Even if it had fitted, it wasn't going to really work the way I wanted it to, so that's going back. I'm going to have to order something new. And so I was working with that, and then I tried to, after I got the visual working, I tried on the audio, and everything just wasn't working. I don't know why. It's the same setup as it was the last time I filmed a video, so I don't know what's going on. And finally, I'm doing test runs, and it sounds okay. It doesn't sound too bad. It doesn't sound great, but it doesn't sound too bad. I import it into my editing software, and now I can tell how bad it really does sound. It just is horrible. So I recorded it again, did test runs. Audio didn't sound too bad. Went ahead and filmed the whole video all over again, put it in my editing software, sounded like crap again. It's just very digital, sounds very digital, and I don't know what the deal was. So here I am, back at it again. I messed with it a while, and I changed a couple settings, and maybe it's going to work. We'll see. I've been not just doing the testing of it by recording and listening to it, but actually recording it, putting it in my editing software and listening to it to see. We'll see. I don't know. Hopefully, if you see this video, it worked, or it worked well enough that I didn't trash this version as well. But last week was a busy one for me at work. We had a massive snowstorm that was predicted to hit on Tuesday, but thankfully we got half the snow they predicted. The original amounts for our areas were like 10 to 15 inches, but we got around 5 inches where I live. Now, a little north of us, my friends that I work with, they got closer to 8, but nothing like the 15 inches that everyone thought we were going to get. The local meteorologist came out after it was all over with egg on their face, trying to explain why they were so wrong, which was kind of funny. Now, I don't think that a lot of people were out on the roads because they were worried about the storm, so that was a good thing. Not that you could cry wolf every time, but still, it ended up being a good thing. Now, despite the storm not putting out as much snow as we had predicted, the temperatures were still as low as they'd predicted. And these were some of the lowest of our winter season. Well, they are the lowest of what we've had so far this winter season. We had 3 days of 0 or below temps overnight. And this is just not an area where we usually get below 0 more than once a year. So we had officers out where I work running the main roads all night long, just making sure there weren't stranded motorists left out in the cold. Now, I'm not actually sure that this is something that's necessary anymore. It doesn't need to be done nowadays. Basically, it's being done for that intersection of the Venn diagram where you have people who are driving at 2 in the morning that also have their cars break down and do not own a cell phone. So maybe like 0.0000001% of people out there. I had some other calls overnight, but mostly just the usual. Almost every vehicle that the guys would come across was already abandoned. Somebody had already come and picked them up. I did have an officer come up on 2 teenagers pretending to fight in the median at 1 in the morning while it was like -2 degrees outside. I think they were surprised that the attention that they were looking for ended up coming from an officer and not someone from the public seeing them and then calling in a fight to 911, which is, I think, what they were hoping for. I also had a really weird thing happen to me yesterday. So I was coming home from my parents' house, and I live in the middle of nowhere. And so my road's actually a county road, and it's not paved. It's just a dirt road. And I'm driving down the dirt road. I'm almost to my house, and I see a bird in the middle of the road, a large bird. And I'm like, it's not a turkey. It's not a buzzard. What is it? And as I get closer, I realize it's a duck. And not a wild duck, a domesticated duck. Now, I have ducks, but this was not one of mine. My ducks are a specific breed. They're white with like black spots on them. This was, I believe, a Muscovy duck. And I'm like, what is this duck doing out here in the middle of nowhere? I don't even have neighbors, really. I don't. And none of the ones I do have, am I aware, have ducks. So I don't know where this duck came from. Did someone drop it off at my house knowing I have ducks, hoping that it would find me? I don't know. But so I get out of the car and I go to try to, am I going to be able to catch this duck? Because it's in the middle of the road. I can't drive up to my house and get the net because that's going to just, it's probably just run off into the field. So what do I do? So I'm like, I don't know. I could never catch my ducks like this. But I went ahead and I just went up to it. And every time I'd take a step, it'd take a step. But it wasn't running away. It was just like 5 feet in front of me. And I'm like, okay, this is not going to work unless I just herd it into all the way up to the house. So I ended up pushing it off the roadway, and we still had snow, but the snow now is melting because it was like 30-some degrees outside. So it was really soft. And so when it fell into the snow, its feet got caught and I was able to grab it. But when I grab my ducks, even if you get the wings tucked in, they still are trying to get away, kicking you with their feet, stuff like that. This one did not. It just curled up and like put its little head down. It just let me pet it. It was just so sweet. And I got in the car, didn't have any problem with the car. I drove it home, got out of the car, took it in, and I have a pen that I use both to grow out baby chicks and I use it as a quarantine. So I put it in there, got it some food, and that thing went to town on the food. It must have been starving. So right now I'm keeping an eye on it, making sure it has plenty of food and water, and just making sure it's not sick. I don't want to introduce it into mine if it's sick. And I really don't necessarily want to introduce it with my ducks because my ducks are a specific breed and I don't want to end up having like one weird breed in there and end up having baby ducklings some point in time. They're like a mixed breed. I don't want that. So we'll see. I may try to find somebody to take it. But what happened? Where did this duck come from? I've told everybody this story today. I'm just like, where did this duck come from? How does this happen? And how does it happen to me? These are the things that happened to me. Somebody was like, you need to write a short story about this. And I'm like, I don't know about that, but I will tell it on my video, because for those of you who stick around, this is your little treat for the day. Well, are you ready for more information on cruising? Why not stick around and check out this video and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.